Okay, so
today, okay,
we're back with
I'm gonna
each other.
throw a curveball.
Are you gonna ask me a question?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're just seeing Family Feud out there in
Oh boy.
the lobby.
Oh, buckle up,
So,
everyone.
Okay, if the question was name one thing that you felt while caregiving for your dad, while caregiving for your kids. Bing.
Unfair.
Good
Was
one.
that a good one?
Yeah, that was a good one. I was gonna say overwhelmed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But like a constant state of
Okay, which
overwhelm.
one would be the top
Unfair.
one? Ding.
I don't play the unfair, woe is me, victimized card a lot.
Violin.
I really try not to.
Okay.
And I can
You
go
really
there.
don't. Yeah, you don't.
But like watching my dad die and not be able to enjoy my kids was like incredibly unfair for me, but more so for my dad that he didn't get to know them. I don't want to say that my dad was obsessed with me because that comes off wrong. Like
No,
it
I
comes
didn't
off
know.
creepy, but like, you know when you just know someone really likes you? Like, I just knew that, like, it just, his whole world revolved around me. I don't know how to say it without sounding snooty, but, like, I think that my dad would have thoroughly enjoyed these kids. Like, really just sunk his teeth in. So for me, knowing who he was and how he saw the world and saw children and all of that, like, I think I would have probably had to ask him to leave the house. Like,
Right.
he would just be.
He would have a sleeping bag outside
Yeah,
your room. Yeah,
right. Just anything they want. So I think the word unfair would be, Steve Harvey would go, yeah,
Ding ding.
yeah, she's right.
I think you got robbed. We got robbed.
Yeah. So I assume we're talking about becoming a parent while losing a parent.
Yes, that is the topic of the day. It's something, actually, I don't know if you know this. We mentioned it in our very first episode,
Frank?
and I don't remember exactly what we said about it, but we were like, we're going to have to do an episode one day about losing a parent while becoming a parent. Took us 5 years, but here we are.
Here we are. I think we've probably talked about it in every episode because it just,
You think?
it's like a thread throughout.
It's still a thread.
I think
It's still a thread.
going back to the first episode when I brought up Dr. Spock,
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
like, you want a roadmap. You want someone to say, oh, my kid did that. Oh, my kid threw sand at Johnny in the sandbox.
Right.
When you're going through it, when you're being a parent, you're like, is my kid weird? Is my kid bad? You're
Yeah.
always measuring against other children. And I think if you have somebody in your corner being like, they're the best things on planet Earth, you're going to see them that way too.
Right.
And so you're trying to maintain this level of normalcy, like giving your kids a normal childhood, giving your kids a normal toddlerhood, but you're not yourself
Right.
because you're losing a parent. And I know it's the normal trajectory. I don't want to ever come off like, woe is me, I lost a parent. Like, everyone loses a parent at some point. I just feel that number one, the way I lost my dad, and number two, when I lost my dad, that's the unfair part.
Right.
I know everyone's parents die. I know everybody dies. I'm not.
But why are you invalidating? Like, just like, this sucked.
Because I know that a lot of people lose a parent. And I'm not saying FTD is the worst way to lose a parent. Losing a parent sucks.
Right.
But the caveat is losing a parent piece by piece.
Yes.
When you're becoming a parent piece by piece.
Right.
You're trying to build your arsenal of like parenting hacks,
Right.
and you're like, who can I ask? Oh,
And I think for us, our parents were the ultimate nurturers. They loved being parents. I'm sure they had their days, but like
Frank
from
didn't.
our view, and this isn't like a rewriting of history, I can confidently say, without knowing Rachel as a child, or, you know, I can confidently say, like, our parents loved the out of us.
Beep.
And enjoyed us. Like,
Yeah.
you can just tell by like the things they did with us, the things they said to us, like the warm feeling that we both had as
Sure.
kids.
Sure.
And so like you have that in your head, because the first thing, and this is just something about like parenthood in general, you don't realize that when you have kids, you instantly go back to your childhood and the memories and the things that they said to you. Like, it's just instinctual. You're like, okay, I'm trying to perform this task. How have I seen it done before?
Yeah, sure. Of
And
course.
so you like, you're not, I wasn't prepared to like deal with that, because that person I was going back to in my mind wasn't the person sitting in front of me anymore. Like, she was a different person. For my mom, she wasn't talking. She wasn't emotive. Like, I mean, she still, you know, would smile, whatever. She wasn't that mom. And so I think one of the reasons too we even started this podcast was like trying to remember who they were before this disease. And I think it was almost like a cruel thing while parenting that I was remembering that loving, nurturing, incredible mom, and that she wasn't that
Right.
anymore, and she couldn't participate in the way that I had anticipated, and I couldn't ask her the questions I wanted to ask her. And it just was like, it was cruel. Like the whole scene of it all was cruel. But I remember my therapist said to me, so it was like, I don't know, maybe, I think when I was pregnant, I had like, what is before you have postpartum? You have like depression while you're pregnant?
Depression while you're pregnant.
Okay.
I
Well,
think.
that's
I
what
don't
it's called.
think there's a name for it.
Okay.
I don't know. I think
Well,
it's just
anyway,
depression.
I failed like a screening or whatever. I think I've told you the story. I failed this screening. I don't remember at what point, maybe halfway through the pregnancy with Liam. I'm living with my parents. I'm helping take care of my mom. I'm trying to have this baby. And they do a screening. I think it's so that like they get your baseline, so that when you deliver, they like compare this quiz.
Sure.
And so like the questions are like, do you feel dread? Like, you know, and like every single one I was like, yes. It was like, do you cry like more than once a week? And I'm like, yes. And like I had to tell them when I handed them the sheet, I was like, I am a caregiver for my mom who has this, and I'm trying to explain what it is because I didn't even really have the words,
Yeah.
and doctors don't even really know.
Right.
And I'm like trying to say whatever. And they were like, you need to see a therapist. So I went and saw this therapist, and we started working together. And one of the things that she said to me was that she was very concerned that I was going from caregiving for my mom to then caregiving for a small child, and that where am I in all of that? And I remember just a lot of our conversations about just like missing my mom, and like just who she was, and trying to articulate to her how difficult it was like losing her in this way. And I remember her saying to me, like, she is going to be with you like while you're parenting. And I'm like, I know she's physically in the house. She's like, no, but like in your mind, when you're going through and thinking of things with Liam, you will think of her. Like she will, like she's instilled so much in you that it's going to come out. Like, and she was right. And I don't know if it was just a mindset shift, but like, I don't know. It was like that piece of her was with me in my mind. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it's just hard to know that you can do it.
Right.
You know, it's like a confidence thing too.
Right.
You've never cared for an ailing parent, and
Right.
you've never cared for a baby, and then you're like, here you go, both at the same time. Good luck. There's no manual.
Right.
There's not a lot of resources for FTD. There's too many resources for being a mom or a parent in general. Try this, do gentle parenting, do this type of parenting. And then you're like, what?
Yeah.
Where's Dr. Spock?
Dr. Spock's getting a lot of airtime.
I don't even know if he's alive. I don't even know if it's a man, to be honest. I just remember my parents, they would always say,
Let's
Dr.
hope
Spock.
he's not super controversial.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I never realized that.
I guess it is a real talk.
This is real talk.
There you
It's
go.
not RM After Dark, but it's close. So I think, too, something that was not shocking, but uncomfortable was trying to explain to my kids, because maybe this is another episode, but I was always honest with my kids in the terms they could understand. Like, I wasn't, when Max was 2, like, my dad has frontotemporal dementia.
Right,
like,
right.
I was always just very straightforward with what was going on. I took my kids to see my dad. They spent days or hours in my dad's facility, and that was just normal. Like, that's just where my dad lived. I think now that they're older and they look back, the memories are fuzzy, but I think they realize, like, oh, not everybody's grandpa lives in a home like that.
Right, right.
But I think trying to explain to them, and I've told Max now, my older, he's 10, like, I'm a different person because I've lost my parent.
Yeah.
And I'm a different person because my dad had this horrible disease. So the person I was before doesn't exist anymore. So you have a different mom than maybe you would have had.
And was their brain like, what?
Max was like, can we go
What
play
are you
baseball?
saying?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was just like, this isn't, why is she telling me this? Mom's going on one of her cult talks again. Oh boy, where's my dad? I think we live in a society where you're just on to the next thing. You're scrolling, you're swiping, you're ordering, it's coming, and then you open the package and it's the next. We're always moving forward. You're not here. So I think when you're in this position, I found it hard to be present for my kids or for my dad. When I'm visiting my dad on Wednesdays, I'm like, okay, I have to be out of here in 45 minutes. I have pickup, and then I have marketing, and it was never just like, I'm here.
Right.
It was always thinking forward. And I think when you become a parent, that's the way your mind starts working.
Right.
What's for dinner? What's tomorrow? Do they have a play date? Do they have sport? Like, you're constantly thinking about what's to come. But when you're caregiving for a parent and caregiving for a child, it's like double whammy. You're constantly, when does your brain stop? I don't know if mine ever did.
I mean, did you ever, like my therapist said, like where did you find you? And
I don't think I did.
yeah, that's the answer. I feel like we get asked these questions sometimes when we go and do speaking engagements or whatever. It's like, how did you find time
How
for
did you cope?
yourself?
I
Or how'd
didn't.
you cope? And it's like, I didn't.
Right.
Like,
I was a
I
manic
didn't. I
freak.
had to find a stranger on the internet to talk to because I didn't.
I know. I don't think, I think it's the pace. We're just, you don't have time to, like, let it sink in. You get the diagnosis and then you're like, now what? You found out you're pregnant. You're like, now what? And the two are so opposite. Like, one is ushering somebody out of this life and one is ushering somebody in. And that juxtaposition, I think, is a lot for a human psyche to understand. And I think it causes anxiety and depression and makes you look
So
on
much
Instagram for strangers.
Right, sure,
And then
of course.
you meet in Denver and you find a psychic. It's normal, maybe. I don't know. Remember that psychic?
Where she was like, I'm not going to look at you guys. And she like looked to the side. And we
then-
didn't even really know each other. So the things that were coming through, I'm like, is that for you? You haven't told me about that.
I'm like, what are you just took a violent shove into very personal territory.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Go
No,
ahead.
no, that I was ready for a question. I was hoping you'd have a question.
Now, if you can sit back and reflect on the years of caregiving for your dad and the kids, is there any beauty or sweetness that you found? And I know that's kind of like the question where I was like, no, I didn't. But like, you know,
Did I enjoy
is there
it?
anything now in the rear view that you're like, wow, that was surprising or surprisingly joyful or that was dreadful? Like, what? I guess my question is, now looking back, has anything popped into your head that you've processed about that time?
This is a like 3 or 4-fold answer.
Okay.
Okay. So Max was born in 2015, and my dad was in a facility. I had moved him one more time. After that, he was in a facility, and his speech was like extremely minimal, so he started to holler quite a bit. And there was one day I remember this facility that he was in was I guess it had 3 levels. So he was on the middle level, and we had to walk up these stairs to get to his room. And I was with Max, my son, and Nick, and I was pregnant with Jack. And so Max was little. And we walked into my dad's room, and he wasn't being restrained, but he had 2 CNAs like kind of holding his shoulders back. And I remember the first thing I thought of was like, I don't want Max to see this.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see it either, but
Right.
I want to understand what's going on. And I think I pushed that so far out of my head that I didn't even talk to Max about it. Like, we left, and I was just like, let's go have lunch. Like, I couldn't bring myself to explain. And how do you explain? He was like 1.5,
Right.
like little.
This is all he knew of your dad.
Totally.
Just like Liam.
Right.
That's all he knew.
Right. And I was careful to try and make the memories that Max would create of my dad to be peaceful and kind and sweet. So that was like a huge shock. And I remember thinking at that moment, like, I need to be aware that my dad's behavior can turn at any moment. And not that my dad was mean or physically harmful to me or anybody, but you just kind of are always a little bit guarded. Like, you just don't know what's coming.
Right.
So I remember thinking that. And then he became wheelchair bound. And that's when I mean, real talk, that's when I was able to relax, when I knew like he couldn't get us, for lack of a better word. And then his speech completely deteriorated. And that's when it became much more copacetic for all of us to be together. And my kids grew up. I had Jack. And when they could walk and, push the wheelchair, those were the moments that were like, I mean, if I had a knife and I cut open my body and you saw my heart, that's what's like deep in there, are these like quiet moments where my dad was really ill, like drooling and couldn't walk and was always biting on a towel. But when I think about my kids and him, that's what I think about. I don't think about the scary screaming on the second floor.
Right.
So I think your mind has a way of like protecting you almost from not even going there, not even remembering those. When the thought of like kids and dad come up, that's the furthest from my mind. But I think it takes time.
Right.
And the more progressed your loved one, in this case my dad, got, the easier it became for my kids to be there.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
It's like, I remember that time with my mom too, of like like waiting for a certain behavior to stop.
Yeah.
But then you're like, but then they're getting closer to the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but you're like, okay, like we can breathe now. They're not trying to
Yeah, they're
stand
not-
up or
yes.
wander
Right.
or, you know, putting things in their mouth or whatever. But like, yeah, I agree that those peaceful, just staring into each
Uh-huh.
other's souls
Yeah.
kind of time is
Yeah.
really so, so beautiful. And you were so good about taking pictures.
Yeah, but now I've like gone through them all. Like I want more.
What do you mean? I
Like I
know.
should have taken more. I should have taken more video. That's what I wish I had.
I wish
of
I had
them together.
done all of that
Yeah.
because I look back now and in the moment I'm taking it almost like I think I was like I just something told me you should, but I didn't want to because I was so sad in some of those moments. It's a tip. Try and be present in the moment. It's so hard. But like there's this one video I think I've posted of my mom just sitting on the couch. She's very apathetic, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't care too much about much going on around her. And Liam's in the bouncer. And then all of a sudden you just see her just reach over and just kind of try and hit the bouncer and like stroke his head. And I'm so glad I captured like little things like that. For me, that was very hard to look at pictures of
Yeah.
what my mom looked like
Yeah.
at that time. And I know, you know, people have different views on how much they're going to share.
Sure.
Things like that. And that's fine. That's everybody's own personal decision. But I am glad that I still captured it because you can just see the love without the words, you know?
I think too it's important, even though like you said, like it's I don't want to take a photo of you looking like that, you know, but at the same time, now that there's so much space between that time
Yeah.
and now, when I look back, I'm like, oh, this is a great photo.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a mind, it's like a turnaround. It's a 180 during. I'm like, oh, why am I
Yes,
what's
yes,
the
yes,
point?
yes.
You know, I don't want to remember this, but I do. I
But
do
now
want
I'm
to
like
remember
so
it.
glad I took that video of like my mom was just pushing Liam's stroller when he was first born. And like I do remember in that time just being like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like that just gut wrenching, ugh. But like now I'm like, look at her just like
Yeah,
she's like this,
yeah,
like
right.
pushing his stroller and like
I wonder what that is. That has to be something that your mind or your psyche does to like turn something so painful and horrific into like a core memory. You know, it must be something. It must be some protective trauma.
I don't think everybody does it.
You don't?
No. I think that I don't know that everybody does that. I don't know. I think we are always actively trying to like find that beauty, but I don't know if that everyone does that.
Let me ask you a real talk question.
Okay. Oh.
Buckle up. Do you think your dad, the surviving parent, do you think your dad's relationship with your kids is different because your mom's not here?
Yes. Gut reaction, yes. I just think my dad is different. You know, I have heard him say that he like feels this duty or push to, I don't know, like fill the gap. You know, my dad is a very like business guy.
Right.
And yeah, I think he knows too, like what my mom would have done. And I think sometimes he's tried to be that. I think he's pretty good at knowing his limits though too, of he can't be her, you know, but I'm really happy now today where we are and his relationship with my kids. And we can get into that more, but yeah, I think so. I think my dad, like us, has found more beauty in the small moments. I think it's been really nice to see just 5 years later how, I mean, he looks so different, doesn't he? Like, he's happy and active and like rolling on the floor with that. Like, he's very present. And I just think it was impossible for him to be that while my mom was still alive, and he was caregiving for her. So it's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say he was very helpful and did the absolute best he could. Sometimes he would drive down to our apartment in Boston with my mom and be like, you guys go out to eat. We'll sit here with Liam. And I'm like, the effort to bring my mom in the car and all the things. But it's almost like I didn't have like either parent in some ways, like while having Liam, because the focus was my mom, understandably, and there just wasn't much energy for anything else, because I just felt like I know it wasn't this, but it just felt like there was always something that needed to be solved. Now she's sliding out of her wheelchair. Now we need a different wheelchair. Now it's this feeding issue. Like, it was just constant troubleshooting. And like, something I wanted to talk about on this episode that was heartbreaking was there was a certain time when Liam and my mom felt like they were very much on the same wavelength. Yeah. So I remember my mom was on the pureed soft foods, and it was like around the time that Liam was starting to eat, solids and the purees and everything. And speaking of like the life hacks of trying to figure out how to feed her, I would be like, Dad, try these spoons that I got for Liam, and that was, I mean, I think in the moment I was like, this is horrible. But like, I think now looking back, I'm like, God, wow, how did I process all of that? Because you're like spoon feeding your parents, spoon feeding your child, and like buying the briefs, for my mom, and for like, it was heartbreaking. I don't know another word for it. It just was like, and how do you go to a mom's group or drinks with your friends and like get someone to understand that?
I don't think you do. I mean, you probably do, but not in the same way.
Like, I remember my therapist being like, you should really be, because I have really bad postpartum. Shocker. And her being like, you should go to like a mom's group. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, of course, I was struggling with breastfeeding and this and troubleshooting all the things you troubleshoot when you're, trying to keep the baby
alive,
fed, and sleeping at the right time, and the schedules and blah, blah, blah. And like, but like, I had this whole other piece emotionally and physically that I was dealing with that like nobody understood. And like, I feel like, like the record scratch when like there's like an awkward moment of just like, like, I just felt like I had so many of those moments. Like, I remember going for a walk with like a neighbor, someone I used to work with was like, oh, this girl lives in your neighborhood. We went for a walk with the strollers, and we're just walking. I'm like, my mom just died or something. And it was just like, never heard from her again. Like,
she like took your number
out
of her phone.
I don't live in your neighborhood. Forget that I live here. Like, it's just so hard, like, and just being a new parent alone is a whole new world. And I'm so, it's fresh in our minds right now because my sister just had a baby, and I'm seeing her, deal with all these things. So sorry, Mateo. And curveball. I feel like it was easier for me when Brennan was born and my mom wasn't alive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course. Because there's no extra caregiving that needs to be, your caregiving quota is met.
Right. And I think when I went to have a second child, like, I wanted a different experience, like I wanted the, like, that beautiful, I don't know, like, cloud of happiness when you bring the baby. Like, I just felt like I didn't, my brain couldn't even do that at the time that Liam was born. I'm so sorry, Liam. I love you more than anything in this whole entire world. You're a shining light. But like, yeah, and I did get to have that with Brennan. But now I'm like, I haven't gotten there yet, but Brennan's 2.5. And what happened? Like, he doesn't even know
Yeah,
he
right.
doesn't know
How
I
do
have
you
a mom. Like,
explain?
he
Yeah.
doesn't, like, how are we going to deal with that? And I'm sure he's not Liam, so it's going to be different. It's probably going to be a very short conversation, whereas Liam wants to know, like, the history of the universe. But, like, I've thought about that sometimes, and, like, sometimes, like, you know, when we were in Greece, Yaya's house is just, like,
Littered with photos, huh? It's like
I
a
just
shrine.
kept showing you. I'm like, look at all these photos of my mom everywhere. It's in my face. I'm like, Brandon doesn't even know who that is, you know? So that's just another aspect of it, of like,
How to talk to them about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
you sure did. Woo!
And then some.
No, you did great.
I'm trying to think though, like going back to that time, I feel like this was part of our bond of like the kids crawling and dealing with the parents and just feeling like I found someone who.
I also think that you can't tell the kids, like, I'm going to take the day off from being your mom because I'm upset today.
Right.
Like, you have to keep going.
Right.
And then I think there's that level of, like, new parent exhaustion, old parent exhaustion. Like, I don't think
Right.
it goes away just because you don't have a baby. Like, I think you're just,
You're
like,
always
habitually tired.
This is why I'm
And
sipping this coffee.
I don't know. Is it because it's, like, the mind weight of it? Is it
The mental load of
it's-
moms. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's just moms. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think dads can carry it too.
They can, but do they?
It's different.
That's a different podcast.
It's just a different load.
Right.
Like, Nick thinks about, like,
Baseball.
do they have enough batting gloves?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, and I'm like, do they have dinner?
Right,
You know,
right.
like, it's just
I'm
a
like,
different.
Is Liam signed up for kindergarten?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Is he signed up for baseball or
Right.
kindergarten? Both are equally important in my house.
Right.
So
Sure.
I don't think you can find, like, a guidebook or a podcast, I don't know, about how to. There's
Yeah.
no, like, step by step. First, you go and visit your parent. Then you visit the baby. Like, there's no process. There's no manual. But I do think you're cultivating and have cultivated a deep, deep bond with both sides. And you're the meat. You're the meat between the two breads. So you can decide how this goes. Right?
You're in
Like,
control.
it doesn't feel like it.
No.
I'll be
You
the
feel
first to say.
out
You
of
feel
control.
like you are doing the world's worst job on both ends. You feel like the
Definitely
bread is
screwing
like,
them up.
there's no mayo. Like, but I do believe, and I know sandwich caregiving, I know the coined
Buzzword,
term,
yeah.
right. But I think if you can prioritize being the good meat, being the boar's head, right? Like, you're going to be,
Sponsor.
yes, boar's head. hit me on the hip. Lexapro, boar's head. What who else do we have? I think you can prioritize both. I think they can coexist. I think you can prioritize being the caregiver for the parent. You can prioritize being the caregiver for the baby. But what gets lost is being the caregiver for yourself.
Right.
And that's something that I wish I would have taken a little bit more time to allow, because I felt guilty. Well, if I'm not with my dad, I should be with the kids. If
Yeah.
I'm not with the kids, I should be with my dad.
Right.
And then I fell through the cracks. And then I just kept going. And then I was resentful, and I was tired, and I was angry, and I was sad, and I was happy. But I think if you say I'm happy, people are like, how could
Right.
you're
Right.
And if you say you're sad, people are, how could you have a new baby? Like,
Right.
what do you mean? So
That's the.
yeah, that's the awkward at the Target checkout line
Right.
when they're like, how's your day? And you're like, I haven't slept in 42 hours. Like, Just maybe don't share that. Just, it's
Yeah,
good. And
I'm
then you
always
move
going
on.
to, but yeah.
But I think the important takeaway is, and I hate cliches almost as much as I hate small talk. But if you don't put your mask on first,
I always hated that.
you can't pour from an empty cup. And Nick used to always tell me that. You have to take time for yourself. And I'd be like, you don't get it. He got it more than I got it.
Right.
You know? And it's easy for somebody on the outside to say that to you. Take a minute. Take a day. Go do this. Go take a walk. But it's so important. The more rejuvenated and content you are in the situation, as content as you can be, the more giving, the more patience, the more calm you're going to bestow on the situation. But the takeaway for me in this is that I want to be the perfect sandwich, right? I want my bread to be toasted. I want the good lettuce. And I had to let go of that expectation. And I still want to be the perfect meat and the perfect sandwich. And I'm not.
You are.
I mean, Nick, if you're listening, what do you think? Hit me on the head.
She's the best.
I am a perfectionist. I know I am. But I think kind of having these two, it's like a magnetic field. Like they get really close together and then they push apart. And that's where I come in. And I feel like I have to hold both. And I don't. My kids have a father and my dad had a care team. But it felt like it was only me. Right. I could only be the one to do it. And I'm still sort of that way. I can only make the beds the right way. I can only make the school lunches because
You do a great school lunch.
I think school lunches are really important.
You do a great
and my
job.
kids probably throw them away half the time.
No.
For sure Max does.
She cuts all the crust off.
They're my babies and they're old, but I see them as infants. I think it's also really, really important to ask for help. Hey, could you drop Max off at baseball practice today? I got to go do this. Hey, I can't make it down to my dad's today, but I'm going to Amazon him the razors that he needs. Hey, I can't be at the baseball game because my dad has a doctor's appointment. I love you.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere all the time.
No.
And everything for everyone all the time.
And you're going to really, really ruin yourself if you think you can.
I've always thought like this, like us traveling and conferences and just the time that we spend together doing what we do, that is not the approved cup.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. That has been my
outlet.
Yeah, that has been like, because we have so much fun together. Laughing
What
from
was
the
second. What was the most fun time we've ever had together? Do you have one?
Such a good question.
Like where you were like, I can't breathe. I mean,
Philly bed.
Yeah, that was a great one. But the most recent one was at my kitchen table the last time you were here at night. Salad.
Okay.
RM After Dark.
What I was going to say,
join us on the Patreon community.
Is someone said to us once, I don't know if she's a listener anymore, but she said, like, something like, you guys are so lucky you get to, like, leave your family. Like, how do you get to travel so much and, like, leave your families and blah, blah, blah. In reality, it's, like, maybe 4 times a year, if that.
Right.
But, like, this is our, like, time.
I also think this is where we're not mom, caregiver.
Right.
PTA vice president. I mean, you know, like we're just
Little League board
Rachel
member.
and Maria.
Yeah.
We're not any other title. I mean, podcast host,
and we
advocate.
take care of each other.
Yes.
Although you were like, do you want me to put the peanut butter on your bread? And I'm like, I could do
she
it
did
myself.
She did it this morning. I had to cut Max's crust because, again, I did it wrong.
Shocker.
Let me tell you, Max and Nick have no problem telling me when I'm wrong. But I will say, to wrap this in a little bow,
I love a bow.
My takeaway, and it's on an accept the good,
okay.
even though I was trying to end every episode, but
okay.
I feel like it would just be too much.
Okay.
Be the best me you can be.
be the best meat you can be. Wow.
But
it's a new Rachelism.
let me tell you, someone's going to hate your meat. Someone's going to hate it. Someone doesn't like turkey out there, and they're going to think turkey's the worst. But you be the turkey.
Right.
And don't worry about what Barbara behind the deli counter says about turkey.
Okay.
Enjoy being the turkey, because there's going to be one day where you're not.
Right.
Your kids are going to be grown, your loved one's going to be gone, and you're going to have nothing.
Right.
Now that sounds...
I know what you mean, though. There's like that time too, like after, where you're like, well, who am I? And what do I do now? Like, just you're lost, because that's your identity. So like actively try and find that now.
Yeah. Find the meat.
Yeah. Find the meat.
And it sounds like...
What if they're vegetarian?
Find the lettuce. Find the avo.
Veggie patty.
I just think it's really important to do your best, but do your best for you too. I didn't do my best for me. I did my best for everybody else, not for me.
I'm only now learning too.
It's really hard to prioritize
really hard.
yourself. And I also want to make it clear, prioritizing yourself could be a face mask. It could be. But it could also be saying no.
Yes.
I'm not going to go to that. Or
We've really learned how to do that over the years.
Yeah. And remember me. But in my personal life...
I'm still working on that with you in your personal life. I've been doing it in my personal life for a couple of years
Sure,
now.
let me put that in the wash right away. You need it for tomorrow? You got it. Yeah, you need that jersey? Sorry, I didn't get it done sooner. It's pathetic, but there's going to be a day where I don't need to wash the jersey anymore.
But I think when you're wired, caregiver all the time, like you're on, like it's just like automatic when someone needs something for you. You're like, yeah, I'm right on top of that, Rose. Like,
yeah.
You know, but like, I think we are learning to be like, well, what works for me?
That's a really, really hard one for me. You know that. And what's best for me?
Yeah, sometimes I ask you that and you're like, don't ask me that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Help. Please,
you need to. You need to.
So prioritize yourself. It sounds so cliche, but you get what I mean.
I think it's important, though, that you're saying it's really hard. Like, I think just validating that it's hard. Just try and just put yourself in the conversation.
I also think it's okay to say, I'm not going to do that today.
Yeah.
I remember so vividly, like you said in the first episode, when I would wait for the call.
Yeah.
And my dad's facility would call me, and I remember it like I can still pick up. I hear it in the phone, my hand. My dad's CNA, wonderful lady. Her name was Isabella. Called me. Mr. Frank need a new pillow. And I said, okay, Isabella. Okay. And my first thought was, I'm going to go to Target and I'm going to take him the new pillow. And I got off the phone with sweet, sweet Isabella. And I went to Nick and I'm like, all right, do you think you can get the kids? I got to get my dad a new pillow. And Nick was like, can he sleep on the same pillow for one more night? And I remember like, yes, of course he can.
That was like a foreign concept to you.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, he needs to.
Didn't enter your brain.
No, like I want him to be as comfortable as possible. Right. Same thing for my kids. Like, oh, they need a new white shirt for this performance. Oh, okay, let me go run and get.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to say, not right now.
Right.
You know, and I think with the society and the next and the swiping and you're inundated with now. It needs to happen now. I need to be my best now. You can work on learning how to be your best and how to do the things that maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable but are the best for you.
Right.
But it's hard.
It is hard.
It's so hard to rewire and to realize, like, if Barbara behind the counter cutting my turkey doesn't like turkey and makes me feel bad, it's not about me. It's about Barbara.
Yeah.
Right?
This is some good stuff we're going to get into in some other episodes, because this really ties into some family stuff and saying no and unlearning some patterns.
It does.
You ready for that?
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you want to learn more about Remember Me, you can go to remembermeftd.com. We love getting new Instagram followers, so follow us on Instagram at Remember Me Podcast. And please consider joining our Patreon. It's a great way to support the podcast and get extra content. For example, our Patreon just got an extended version of this episode dropped a day early for them. So you can go to patreon.com/remembermecommunity. This podcast is produced by Rachel Martinez and Maria